I'm Janice Edwards. Coming up on Signature Silicon Valley, we're talking with San Jose mayoral candidates, City Councilman Sam Liccardo and Supervisor Dave Cortese. They're bringing their favorite Italian dishes, and we'll get to sample them. Then the Alzheimer's Association has a preview of their upcoming walk. And students who taught in India as part of the Home of Hope English Empowerment Program join us. That's coming up next. City Councilman Sam Liccardo is here, and he's brought cioppino. So welcome to you.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm almost as happy as the cioppino.
Yes, and it smells wonderful.
Yes.
Everyone in the studio is just savoring the smell of it. And I wanted to have an opportunity to talk with you in a more personal way, just about your life and what led you into politics, and also this recipe in your family.
Yes.
So since it's before us and we started with that, talk to me a little bit about cioppino, why you like it, and who made it at home.
Right. So crab cioppino is a traditional Sicilian dish, although it's enjoyed elsewhere in Italy. It's often enjoyed on Christmas Eve. So it's a big family meal. This is something you make a big deal about. And cioppino is really just a collection of fish and in a rich tomato sauce with with a lot of spices, a lot of garlic. And for the most part, it's about whatever anybody brings to the kitchen that day. Usually, different uncles and aunts and cousins would bring, their favorite shrimp or crab or whatever it was, and it all gets thrown into the same pot. And the family enjoys whatever's there. My mom made it for us since I was a little kid. It was always a favorite of mine. My mom is not Italian, by the way. She's Irish and Mexican and lots of other nationalities. But she decided she couldn't stand Irish food, and so she learned how to cook Italian from my paternal grandmother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so how big was your family? How many siblings?
So I was one of 5 kids,
Okay.
and still am.
Okay.
And so my job as the youngest of the 5 was to stay out of the way. So while the cooking was being done, I stayed out of the way, and then usually the youngest 2 or 3 of us, of all the kids and cousins, would be stuck with KP, and we'd do the cleanup.
Wow. Well, that's a small price to pay for enjoying cioppino, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So what was it that led you into politics?
I was always passionate about whatever was going on in the news. I was one of those odd 8-year-old kids who would sit and watch television with my folks and watch the nightly news and read Newsweek and get really engaged in that. And I'll never forget, when I first got my letter of acceptance to law school, I remember going over to my grandfather's house, and he lived over on North 5th Street for about 60 years. And I remember running over there to tell him about it, because he'd only had an 8th grade education. He was very proud that his kids and grandkids would go on to college. That was something that was very exciting to him. And so I went over and showed him my letter of acceptance. I was expecting him to shower me with praise. And so I told him about it. I said, "Grandpa, check it out. I got into Harvard. I'm going off." And he didn't say anything to me. And so I had to tell him 2 or 3 times, "Hey, Grandpa, check it out. I'm going to Harvard Law School. Isn't that great?" And eventually he just interrupts me and says, "Sam, whatever you do, don't be one of them." I was a little disappointed, so I asked him what he meant by that.
Right.
And he said, "Sam, you need to understand, lots of folks go to schools like that, and they think it's all about them. That they worked harder than everybody else, they deserve it, they're smarter than everybody else. But you know better than that. You know you had that opportunity because you had a grandmother that got up at 4 in the morning to get a store ready, and you had a father who worked 2 jobs to get through college, and you had teachers who worked really hard to give you that opportunity." So he said, you go to schools like that, you better remember it's not about you. And when you graduate from school like that, you better remember it's about something greater than yourself.
Yes.
And that was a powerful lesson, and it was certainly a lesson I took to heart, and ultimately something that sort of drove me into public service.
Yes, I remember getting a talk like that from my dad when I was accepted to Harvard undergrad, so I know it's very important in that way. In public service now, how do you feel this mayoral campaign has changed you, if it has in any way?
We've had a great opportunity to get out and really explore parts of the city that I honestly had never even seen before. This is an enormous city. And it doesn't matter how long you serve here, how long you work here, you cannot possibly see it all unless you are deliberate in doing so. And I've had the benefit now of being in 160 homes throughout the city for gatherings, to be able to meet neighbors and talk. And what is inspiring to me is how passionate people are about wanting to improve the city, how much they care about this community. It doesn't matter how skeptical they are about politics, how jaded they might feel about it, they're still passionate about the issue of what it's going to take to make their park a little more welcoming for kids, what it's going to take to help the senior citizen who lives next door feel a little safer. Whatever it is, people are passionate about it in this city, and it's very inspiring to me.
Let's talk about safety and crime.
Yeah.
So what will you do if you're elected mayor to make a difference in that area?
Yeah, I think we all agree we need more police officers, and certainly we lost, some 400 officers since the Great Recession, and about 80% of those officers left really because we had no money. We had to lay officers off. We had hiring freezes. It was a brutally difficult time, I can remember, throughout that recession and thereafter. And so I really focused in the last year and a half in identifying the funding we would need to start to rehire officers more aggressively and restore pay to keep them on board. And so I put a plan together with Mayor Reed about 10 months ago. We identified about $35 million in savings. So we've added a third police academy. We restored pay through agreement with the union, about 11%, so that's helping folks stay on board at a greater rate than they were a year ago. And in the meantime, obviously it's going to take a lot of time to add all those officers back. And so we've got to focus on how we can be more effective and efficient with the officers we have. And so I've had a whole set of proposals around utilizing technologies, from data analytics to crowdsourcing video cameras, all kinds of things we can do to help our officers be more effective while they're out there.
When you contrast how you felt when you arrived, Gurbash, and when you left, what do you think is the biggest difference personally?
Well, when I came to India, I felt that I didn't really know what to expect there. And when I was just thinking I was going to teach soccer, they would learn soccer and that'd be it. But when I left, I learned that these kids need someone, they weren't just looking to learn the sport, but learn from a person, from another country, from a person that knows a lot about what they're teaching, a person that can, be their friend and be their teacher at the same time. And I learned that these kids really just want to be, happy all the time, and they just want to take every opportunity they can to get better and learn something new.
Yes, and they have many hard experiences, but this brought a lot of joy. Saloni, what will you take away? What is something that you treasure about what you experienced on the trip?
I'll take away a lot from this trip. So one thing is that the kids every day, they come from hardships and everything. They come from parents that are alcoholics. They don't have a dad or something. So when they come to class, dance class, they're so happy. They forget everything. They're whole different people. They're all happy. They're dancing, and I love that. I can teach them, and I can make them be happy, and I'm their friend too, so they can talk to me, and it was just amazing.
Wow,
to see that.
Clearly it's amazing, and I want to thank you all for being here, and thank you for sharing some of the work that you do, and continued success with what you're doing with Home of Hope to make a difference and to bridge cultural gaps.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Jen.